KMTV 3 News Now this morning.
Coming up on 3 News Now this morning, a grim milestone as close to 2 million people test positive for coronavirus. We'll have the latest numbers worldwide. And we've been told to wear a face mask when out, but how do you use the mask? We'll have some tips. And making every vote count. With the primary less than a month away, what you can do to make sure your vote counts. Good morning, I'm Courtney Johns. Today is Wednesday, April 15th. We'll have a look at those stories in just a moment, but first we're going to begin with a check of our forecast with Weather Alert Team meteorologist Mark Stitz. And Mark, I know you kind of have a difficult forecast ahead. It's a tricky one for tomorrow.
Yeah, there's some question marks on tomorrow's forecast. We'll just say that again. Right now we're going with slushy mess more than anything, but again, we just go a little bit colder than we're expecting right now, and that could easily change some areas into a lot more snow than anything. So we'll wait and see on that one, Courtney.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in the hours to come what changes.
Yeah, so we'll keep updating that forecast. But for this morning, we do know it is chilly out there, just like it has been last couple of mornings. 24 right now in Omaha. There's really super light winds, though, even calm in a lot of our cities, so of course not making it feel any worse than it has to. And our winds will be much lighter this afternoon compared to the last couple of afternoons. Millard, you're at 26, Council Bluffs holding on to 23, but Bellevue, you guys have fallen now to 19 degrees. And again, we have a lot of cities in the teens out there this morning outside the metro. But you can see we are nice and dry this morning after a few snowflakes went through south of I-80 overnight. The clouds, all that stuff is pushing on out of here, so most of us will see a lot of sunshine this morning. But again, some of those areas like Carroll, Denison, down towards Atlantic, Clarinda, dealing with some fog. Some of it pretty thick as well, especially as you head a little bit more out towards Des Moines. So keep that in mind if you are traveling farther off to the east out there this morning. Anyway, here's your emojis over the next few days. Again, can't rule out a couple sprinkles this afternoon, but more than anything, we'll see lots of sunshine, and that should get us closer to 50. So Emoji Man getting a little bit excited because we're starting to warm up, but he knows tomorrow he's going to need those hats and the gloves and the scarves and all of the above out there for our Thursday, because the rain and the snow will be moving in. Again, I think for most of us, the slushy mess where it does fall. Again, it's not coming for everyone. We'll detail it out here in just a little bit. But either way, Friday, he's got his sunglasses back on as the sunshine returns and the warming weather as well. But again, we'll talk a lot more about Thursday's forecast coming up in just a little bit. Courtney?
All right, thank you, Mark. President Donald Trump is now saying he'll leave it to the governors to determine the right time and manner to revive activity in their states. This comes as the coronavirus pandemic is about to reach the 2 million mark infected rate worldwide, with nearly 127,000 deaths. In the United States, over 26,000 people have died from the virus. More than 10,000 of those are in New York City alone. And yesterday, Iowa saw its single largest spike in coronavirus cases since the outbreak began. There are 6 new deaths and 189 total new cases. 86 of the cases were connected to an outbreak at a Tyson plant in eastern Iowa. Iowa also has 3 additional outbreaks at long-term care facilities. The state now has a total of 49 deaths and 1,899 cases. And in Nebraska, there are 901 cases and 22 deaths related to the coronavirus. Among the most recent is a man in his 80s from Custer County. There were also 2 deaths at an assisted living facility in Gage, where another resident had previously died earlier this month. Douglas County has 255 confirmed cases. If you are able to venture out, you're likely seeing all kinds of homemade masks, from sewn coverings to handkerchiefs to scarves. 3 News Now digital reporter Jessica Edson sat down with a local dermatologist to learn what kind of effect these masks might have on your skin.
The CDC is now recommending that whenever you go out in public, you wear some kind of homemade facial mask. And why they can't help protect from the coronavirus, it's important to remember that these need to be washed like any other article of clothing.
Dermatologist Justin Madsen says wearing a cloth mask can lead to skin irritation or breakouts because it holds oil from the face and does not allow the skin to breathe.
For everyone who's making face masks for themselves, you have to wash that stuff. I mean, you wouldn't put the same pair of underwear on every single day. You get all the stuff trapped in there. You want to keep switching it over. Your face has a lot of oil glands, and you need to be sure that you get the oil removed off of all of that.
Madsen said it's best to wash the mask in a machine instead of by hand. Those with drier skin should consider a gentler, non-scented detergent, while those with oilier skin can use something a little stronger. For those wearing N95 or paper masks, there are ways that hospitals have found to sterilize them, But if you're trying to clean them at home, you're probably better off just using a material that can be machine washed.
If you do keep wearing it, you are cutting down on the efficacy of the mask in the first place because it's not meant to be worn all of the time every day.
Madsen said he is still treating patients for skin issues through telehealth services or in office for those serious cases like skin cancer, and he wants patients who are using some medications to be aware that they can compromise the immune system and put them at risk during this time.
I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of patients about, you can stop this medication if you want. Yes, your psoriasis will come back, but your psoriasis won't kill you.
Well, like he said, a breakout is not going to kill you, so it's definitely important to still wear those masks whenever you go out in public. Just remember when you get home to take the mask off and wash your face thoroughly. A couple other things that can help is getting plenty of sleep, drinking enough fluids, and eating a balanced diet. Reporting from my home, I'm Jessica Edson, 3 News Now.
And our May primary is steadily approaching, although some have been and others still are skeptical of voting by mail. This type of voting is up in the metro area. 3 News Now reporter Danielle Davis has more on what you need to know.
Courtney, due to the coronavirus and social distancing, there is no early voting in person at polling stations. People looking to eliminate their risk for the primaries on May 12th are choosing early voting by mail. It doesn't take long to scroll through the internet and find comments of people questioning the vote by mail process, and if their vote will be lost or how many ballots will be found in the trunk of someone's car. But times have changed, and there are new rules governing the vote by mail process.
And you can check the status of your ballot. So you can actually see that the ballot has arrived at the election commissioner's office and is ready to be counted, which is more than you can see if you are voting at a polling place.
In Wisconsin, lines were long and voters very unhappy to have to put their lives on the line to vote. Due to the coronavirus, the governor has suspended in-person early voting. And if they are skeptical about dropping it in the mail, they can drop it off themselves.
So there's lock boxes throughout the city, both Douglas and Sarpy County, and they're very secure, just like if you were to, put a letter in a postal mailbox. No one can get in there except for an official with the Douglas County Election Commission or the Sarpy County Election Commission.
Request for an early vote by mail ballot has to be received by May 1st. Along with the convenience of being able to vote in your pajamas, Lango says another benefit is being able to sit at home, take your time, and really research the candidates and make an informed decision. Now you can find more information on voting at vote411.org. This is Danielle Davis for 3 News Now this morning. Courtney, back to you.
All right, thanks, Danny. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum has unveiled the Dr. Deborah Birx bobblehead. Birx is the coronavirus response coordinator for the White House, and it comes on the heels of the popular Dr. Fauci bobblehead, which became the best-selling bobblehead, raising over $130,000. All the money from sales goes to the 100 Million Mask Challenge. I love bobbleheads. Mark, I know you have too. I have no bobbleheads. I think I need to get one.
They're fun. It's just all of a sudden you have too many bobbleheads, and then it's one of those
It just
things.
gets out of hand.
You either commit to having a lot of bobbleheads or you have to throw them away.
Well, and I'm just thinking, where would I put it? I mean, I suppose anywhere, but it just doesn't go with the decor at my place.
Just too fancy in your place.
I'm very fancy, as you can tell.
And my 2 bobbleheads, which are both Ohio State bobbleheads, they're in my dad's house in Ohio, so keep the Ohio things in Ohio.
There
at least
you
most
go.
of it. We all know I have some at home.
Coming up on 3 News Now this morning, in our We're Open Omaha, a local business that's helping some find jobs in these tough times.
And live look at downtown Omaha from our Harris Casino camera, showing a quiet start to our Wednesday. It's a little bit chilly out there, and our little mini warm-up continues this afternoon. The problem is it gets put on hold tomorrow with the rain and snow moving in. We'll time it out for you coming up.
You're watching KMTV 3 News Now with Courtney Johns, Maya Sines, and weather with meteorologist Mark Stitz. This is KMTV 3 News Now this morning. This weather alert forecast sponsored by Elite Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and storm damage.
Just like earlier this week, our temperatures in the teens and 20s across the region. Right now, Omaha coming in at 23, but a lot of cities along and north of I-80 are in the teens. Farther down to the south, low to mid 20s outside, with Nebraska City coming in at 23. But our winds are super light, and they'll pick up just a little bit this afternoon, but they overall stay much lighter compared to the last couple of afternoons. So that's going to help warm things up, and so will the sunshine. You can see a few snowflakes out there overnight south of I-80, but those have moved on, and we're going to enjoy lots of sunshine through the rest of our morning and just a few clouds as we go into the afternoon. Now, the one exception to that morning sunshine is going to be areas a little bit farther off towards the east. You can see visibility in Denison down to 0, less than a mile in Atlantic, and even here in Omaha starting to see some of that light fog move in. But again, it's much worse across portions of western Iowa, so keep that in mind if you're traveling through those areas. Give yourself some extra time and make sure you have those low beam headlights on and ready to go. But let's go to Futurecast. You can see by lunchtime, we're still mostly sunny out there, the fog completely gone. As we get into the afternoon, though, a few clouds do start to move in. So that's going to take our low 40s at lunchtime and slow the warming down to about 50 for the afternoon. But again, overall looking pretty nice this afternoon, at least warmer than yesterday and with lighter winds. And just a few clouds out there, maybe giving way to a couple sprinkles, but like yesterday, it's going to look kind of rough on radar, but most of us won't be seeing anything reach the ground from that. Either way, overnight tonight, things do start to change. More clouds start to move in, and then by Thursday morning, we're starting to see some rain and snow push in. Most of that in the morning will be pretty light, shouldn't cause any issues for your morning commute. But as we get towards the lunch hour, I think things kind of start to ramp up. Some heavier rain and snow will start to push in at times, and the bulk of this is going to stay along and south of I-80. Yes, areas north of I-80 could catch a little bit of this, but again, the bulk of this will be along and south of I-80. Sometimes it's going to be rain, sometimes it's going to be snow. You could go back and forth a couple of times throughout the day. Overall, that's going to make for a slushy mess across these areas that do see it, including here in Omaha. We could have some slush on the ground, including the roadways from some of these areas. Good news is temperatures will be above freezing, so that's going to slowly be melting it as it happens. But if you get stuck under a heavier pocket of snow for a little while, that could accumulate. And again, I think if we do see an accumulation of snow, that would probably be south of I-80, not so much here in Omaha. But if this system trends cooler than expected, that would quickly open the door to some decent snow. We're talking multiple inches south of I-80. Again, that's a long shot right now. I think we're going to stick to more slush. But again, if this system brings in more cool air than expected, that would switch more of it over to snow. So unfortunately, a lot of question marks with this system. We'll keep you updated over the next 24 hours though as it moves in. But again, right now in Omaha, I'm thinking more slush than anything. And I think even south of I-80, more slush than anything. But it does come to an end Thursday night. And then we get back on track with our warm-up heading into the weekend. But today, highs near 50, maybe a couple sprinkles. That's it, though. Most of us see a lot of sunshine throughout the day. Overnight tonight, then we drop down to 30. Some of that rain and snow moves in for the morning. And then again, it's going to be with us, especially during those afternoon hours on Thursday into Thursday evening. The bulk of it still along and south of I-80. That's why it's 60%, because about 40% of those areas north of I-80 won't see much of anything from this. Friday, the sunshine's back, highs near 52. And then as we go into the weekend, looking good, mid-60s both days with lots of sunshine. The morning's much more comfortable in the 30s and 40s. And it looks like we continue to warm up early next week, eventually even into the low 70s. But of course, we'll continue to update that forecast for Thursday. Check back in with us. A lot could change with this one. So again, we have an updated forecast always on the Storm Shield app. Download it for free on the App Store or Google Play.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, the director of the CDC joins us. We'll ask him about the president's decision to cut America's funding to the World Health Organization. Also, the difficulty with learning online and why experts fear students are falling behind. Plus, we speak to the founder of Operation Hope, how that organization is helping underserved communities during this pandemic. And Wynton Marsalis reflects on the loss of his father and tells us what he's doing to help struggling jazz musicians. We need all the music we can get right now. And we'll see you at 7.
Welcome back. It is now 24 degrees out on this Wednesday morning. Time 6:19, and here's a live look from our Nebraska DOT camera looking at I-680 north of Pacific. Now, even though we can't come together in person, we can still come together as a community. KMTV has started a campaign called We're Open Omaha. It's a partnership between us and local businesses with one goal, getting them through this tough time. Every day, we're shining a light on a business or a restaurant that continues to serve our community and our neighborhoods. And this morning, 3 News Now anchor Maya Signs checks out Associated Staffing, Inc.
While many face unemployment or furlough, people need help finding jobs. Associated Staffing Agency Inc. is open and able to help with those job searches.
We do everything on the light industrial spectrum, so production, manufacturing, warehouse, forklift, anything blue collar is primarily what we specialize in. Very different from a temp agency in that we don't do temporary work. We do all permanent, full-time, or direct hire for our clients or our business partners.
Associated Staffing Inc. near 50th and L is a full-service staffing agency. They have locations in Omaha, Columbus, Kearney, Grand Island, and Hastings, and can help people get jobs in any of those cities, even up to an hour away. Right now, branch manager David Frank says the company is seeing about 70% of their clients or hiring partners who have put the brakes on job recruiting.
There's a lot of back and forth. I guess it depends on the industry. We've got some companies who will say, send us everybody, we still need the help. And we've got some that'll, hey, let's wait 2 weeks, let's wait a month, let's wait to ride this thing out. We've kind of been at their beck and call depending on what that looks like.
But there are some employees that are in high demand.
The food industry is always a big one because that's an essential career field as we know it. The building industry, we've got a company that does a lot of steel erection and puts out buildings on the commercial and residential side. That's very big right now. Believe it or not, we've got a company that does manufacturing for cosmetic products, so shampoos, creams, lotions. They're booming right now.
The company connects job seekers to companies and even offers free resume assistance.
If you don't have a resume, very seriously consider writing a resume or sitting down with someone. Agencies, specifically ours, is very good with that because we don't charge to write resumes. So we're going to try to help you find work first, but at the bare minimum, we're going to have a resume for you at the end of the interview.
Normally, they offer all walk-in traffic, but they're currently taking safety precautions and locking their front doors and only seeing people by appointment. Frank says if you're looking for a job, don't lose hope and be proactive.
The biggest thing we want to let folks know is there's hope. Things are slowed down. Don't panic. What I fully anticipate is once this subsides and we get away from the pandemic, it's going to be like Christmas for job seekers because all the companies that paused or slowed down are going to have to ramp up their workforce again. And so we've been telling folks, even if we don't have work for you now, get your resume into us, get your application into us, because then when they do open up, they're the first people that we can immediately get back out to work.
In Omaha, Maya Signs, 3 News Now.
Once again, Associated Staffing Inc. is located near 51st Street and L Street. The hours are listed on your screen, and you can find more information on it and other open businesses on our webpage under the special section called We're Open Omaha. Still to come on 3 News Now this morning, today is National American Sign Language Day, and we'll take a look at how important this language is and talk to those who are making a difference.
This weather alert forecast sponsored by Elite Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and storm damage.
It is chilly out there this morning. Omaha, really one of the warmer spots across eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. We're at 23, but Falls City does have a speed of 27. But look at all the teens around our area, 17 Columbus and Lincoln. But the rest of Nebraska, you get into the low and mid 20s in the central part of the state, even some upper 20s out there in the panhandle. But Iowa, also a little bit more mild, especially the farther south you go. Des Moines at 24 and Iowa City right now at 28. So again, a lot of those teens pretty far north or right in our area. Now also a little bit of fog out there this morning, most of that in western Iowa and really thick in some spots. Can't see on satellite because it's too early in the day, but some of that extends over towards the Des Moines area, so watch out if you are headed in that direction or live out in that direction. You may be running into some very thick fog, so give yourself some extra time and make sure your low beam headlights are on and ready to go. But a lot of us will wake up to a lot of sunshine, and those mostly sunny skies will help to warm things up pretty quickly through the morning hours. But here's our Nebraska Humane Society dog of the day. This little lady's name is Oreo. She is approaching 2 years old, so a whole lot of energy left in this one. And yes, we are told enough energy that she even comes with a free training lesson if you choose to adopt her. So very energetic and would do best in a home with a backyard, not so much an apartment. She'd be too loud, too energetic for that kind of setting. And she would do best with kiddos who are teenagers or older. But if that's not the right fit for you, plenty of other great options as well. And also some good news about Oreo. She absolutely loves to play with her toys. and likes to play with other dogs as well. So if you already have a dog, maybe thinking about adding a second, check out Oreo. And again, if not, plenty of other good ones out there as well, looking for forever homes and forever families. Now for the dog walk forecast today, again, chilly this morning, but once we get into that lunch hour for your lunch break, things looking much better. Temperatures near 42, and then towards the end of your workday, temperatures topping out near 50. Will come with a few more clouds in the afternoon, and as we go into the evening, we'd fall back into the low 40s. So enjoy them, because tomorrow looking a lot messier than that will be.
This is KMTV 3 News Now, this morning.
Good morning, I'm Courtney Johns. Today is Wednesday, April 15th. Thanks for starting your day with us. We'll have a look at this morning's top stories in just a moment, but first we're going to begin with a check of our forecast with Weather Alert Team meteorologist Mark Stitz. And Mark, you're talking about Thursday and really just the range of what we could have at this point.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, temperature's going to be right on that boundary between more rain or more snow, and that means, is it going to be slush or is it going to be more snow? Now, here in Omaha, Courtney, I think we will be more just slush no matter what happens tomorrow, but areas down to the south, things get a little bit tricky for them. So we'll wait and see.
Oh boy, looking forward to
it. I'll be stressed tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'll give you a break tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
You're so
Maybe
welcome.
you'll bring me donuts too tomorrow.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Okay. Either way, chilly out there this morning. 23 right now at Omaha's Eppley Airfield. Winds, though, are super light, even calm in a lot of our cities. So that's making it feel a little bit more comfortable compared to the last couple of mornings when it's also been chilly. And those winds will stay much lighter this afternoon compared to yesterday as well. Elkhorn, though, you guys are at 19, so a little extra chilly for you guys. Carter Lake coming in at 22, and right at 20 over towards Plattsmouth. Springfield doing one better than that. Now, most of us are dry this morning. Really, everyone is dry this morning. The problem is we have some really thick fog out towards areas like Carroll, Atlantic, Denison, kind of that very far western Iowa part of our viewing area. So if you're heading out in that area, give yourself extra time. Make sure you have the low beam headlights on and ready to go. But the rest of us, just some very light fog in Omaha. And again, most of us will not see any of it, just a lot of sunshine to start the day. But temperatures in the upper 20s, so giving the morning commute a green light. Hopefully your heater works. And then this afternoon coming home, a little bit better than yesterday. Again, the winds won't be as strong. It will be a little bit warmer, near 50 degrees at that point. Just a few clouds floating around this afternoon. So the evening commute gets a green light out there as well. But again, rain and snow, kind of a slushy mess on the way for us tomorrow. And we'll be timing that out for you in just a little bit. Courtney?
All right, thank you, Mark. Iowa saw its largest single-day spike for coronavirus cases since the outbreak started. There were 6 new deaths and 189 total new cases reported yesterday. 86 of the cases were connected to an outbreak at a Tyson plant in eastern Iowa. Iowa also has 3 additional outbreaks at long-term care facilities. The state now has a total of 49 deaths and 1,899 confirmed cases. And we've learned about new deaths in Nebraska. There are 901 cases and 22 deaths. Among the most recent, 2 deaths at an assisted living facility in Gage County. That's the same facility where another resident died earlier this month. A man in his 80s from Custer County also died. Douglas County has 255 cases. And also to note, the Grand Island area now has 214 cases. And a resident of a Blair senior living facility has died from coronavirus. Investigator Jeff Van Sant has been following the outbreak at Carter Place and explains what we've learned about the man who died.
90-year-old Daryl Dibben, a beloved father, grandfather, someone who touched the lives of so many, is now the first confirmed death of COVID-19 from Carter Place. Messages of love, support, and remembrance fill this Facebook page of those who knew Dibben as a professor at the now-defunct Dana College in Blair. Family tells 3 News Now investigators Dibben fell ill with COVID-19 while at Carter Place. He was moved to CHI Emmanuel, where he passed away on April 12th. In an exclusive 3 News Now investigation, some Carter Place staff members reached out in March describing what they called absolute blatant neglect at the facility. Sources say it was slow to start social distancing. It was slow or failed to report fevers of residents to health officials, even after the virus was found in the facility. Management told staff there was no need to isolate. It says, per company policy, anyone who chooses to do that will be considered self-termination from Carter Place. The Washington County Attorney's Office ordered Blair Police to launch an investigation to see if Carter Place's response was in line with health measures set by the state. The Blair Police tells 3 News Now that the investigation is active and in progress. As for Daryl Dibben, his family is focusing on his life and the lives he touched. His service will be held in the near future. Jeff Van Sant, 3 News Now.
And we have more information and a detailed timeline of what happened at Carter Place on our website, 3newsnow.com. If you have a story idea for our 3 News Now investigators, email them at investigate@3newsnow.com. Governor Pete Ricketts has announced some changes that might come as a big relief for struggling restaurants. He says restaurants can now start selling grocery store items. They're now able to sell bulk food items like milk, eggs, bread, even paper products. For those used to getting carryout, not much will change. It will be the same process. Zoe Olson with the Nebraska Restaurant Association says this will be especially useful in rural areas.
Many of them don't have grocery stores. There are very few grocery stores. So this is certainly a way for those communities to also get access to food.
Zoe says 6% of Nebraska restaurants will have to close down because of the pandemic. She hopes these new measures will allow many of them to stay open. It is crucial for all Americans to have access to information, especially during a crisis. Most people can communicate by talking and listening, but there is a portion of our population that relies heavily on closed captioning and interpreters. On this National American Sign Language Day, 3 News Now reporter Ket Lutzen has more on how important it is to push the boundaries of communication during this global pandemic.
I imagine, finding information can be pretty difficult. How have you been able to manage on getting your news and your information?
Well, really, I've been staying in friends with California since the coronavirus outbreak. The two of us watch the news, and they actually know more than I do about it, and then they'll kind of fill me in on details. So I know how to be prepared, like washing your hands and wearing a face mask and a variety of things like that.
For people that are deaf, like Dan Fox, it's always been a non-traditional route to find news and information. He's relied heavily on his own community, along with technology, to stay up to date. I asked him how news outlets and political leaders can do better to communicate during this pandemic.
Well, I think it's already improved. Always having an interpreter next to in the news for us to watch and follow along.
You may have noticed wider shots or even 2 boxes during press conferences to show interpreters, and one of those is Sharon Sinkler, who is signed for some of the most recent Omaha press conferences.
As people who can hear, we're constantly exposed to information, and a lot of it's incidental. You overhear something here, or you just take that for granted. That isn't the case always for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. They have to actively seek out information.
Sharon adds that information is often in the English form, not their native language, which is American Sign Language.
Can you show me again what COVID-19 is, the sign for coronavirus?
Okay, it is.
So kind of like what the picture we show all the time, it looks like a little cellular molecule.
Like a little cell with these things coming off of it, yes.
Dan and Sharon agree there is a lot to celebrate this National ASL Day. They just ask for people to be more mindful of the different paths we can use to communicate, especially as the world is navigating a global pandemic.
How do you celebrate, and has the COVID-19 pandemic changed the way you're going to celebrate?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, we all have to stay home, but usually we will share amongst our community through social media, those ASL stories, ASL poetry, through video chats, collaborating all together with the use of ASL.
In Omaha, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
Face masks are another barrier for people that are deaf or hard of hearing. Many of them rely on reading lips to communicate. Sharon says there is a shortage of interpreters, and she hopes to inspire younger people to learn ASL and fill her role in the future. Many healthcare providers, including CHI Health, have started offering telehealth services. That's virtual doctor visits that don't require an actual trip to the doctor's office. Telehealth has been around for a while now, but now insurance companies are making it easier for people to use it and at a smaller cost. Blue Cross Blue Shield Nebraska has waived telehealth copays, making it more efficient for patients and providers to continue routine care without risking exposure to the virus. Medical professionals are now saying telehealth could be the way of the future.
So yes, I think it sped things up, and I am hopeful. I do believe that it's something that then will be able to continue beyond the pandemic.
Telehealth virtual visits are great for managing chronic conditions and checking out symptoms that don't need immediate assistance. However, those dealing with medical emergencies that can't be treated through technology are still encouraged to visit a local emergency room or urgent care. And modern technology is helping protect Omaha healthcare workers. Take a look. 100 3D face mask shields were dropped off at CHI Health Lakeside Hospital Tuesday. The shields are reusable. They were put together with the help of 3D printers. The group PPE for NE played a big role in making this delivery. They plan on making another delivery of those face shields in the near future. And here's another great story about people stepping up. Earlier, Nebraska Medicine asked volunteers to sew masks. They had enough fabric to make 50,000 masks. One of our employees emailed to volunteer and got a reply saying the hospital received an amazing response and currently has more volunteers than they can distribute kits to. If you want to help, you can still email them at mask@nebraskamed.com and they'll put you on a volunteer database for future kits. But hopefully, Mark, as they mentioned, they won't need anyone else because everyone's stepping up and hopefully it'll be taken care of.
Yeah, and hopefully the supply chain just gets fixed soon and they can just have real masks made by professionals. But until then, great job by everybody stepping up.
Yeah, it's amazing to see all these Nebraskans coming together.
Yeah, I like the PPE for NE.
I know, it's like they're trying to throw me off. That was a lot of work right there.
And who knew we would even know what PPE meant even a month ago?
I know, we're learning a lot right now. Coming up on 3 News Now this morning, it's a business deemed non-essential, but we all need haircuts and color, right? So what do? We'll have tips in our consumer news.
You see, Courtney and I in a month from now, it might look a little more essential, but we'll see. A little bit of sunshine already coming out across the Omaha Metro. It's chilly out there this morning, though. And tomorrow, things get pretty rough. Rain, snow moving back in. That's going to put our warm-up on hold. We'll talk about that and time it up for you coming up.
And as we head into the break, we know coronavirus pandemic means high school seniors will not get traditional graduation ceremonies, so we wanted to honor the class of 2020. You can help by sending pictures of your senior with their name and high school to Salute to Seniors link at 3newsnow.com, and we'll feature them in an online gallery and on air. Here's a look at today's group of seniors. Congratulations to all of them. Welcome back. The time now is 6:45. Among the businesses deemed non-essential right now, barbershops and hair salons. So what do you do if you need a haircut or color? Well, consumer reporter John Mattery shows us why getting a cut anywhere is risky right now, so you don't waste your money.
Need a haircut soon? Good luck. Well, restaurants are open on a limited basis and some people can work from home. The salon industry is shut down tight right now. For hairstylists, nail techs, and barbers, the only work now is cleaning. Their appointment books are frozen in time on March 16th.
We're all struggling. I mean, we have no way of income.
Owner Barbara Naylor is hoping they soon see the promised unemployment benefits. 30-year stylist Mary Beth Jacobs, though, also worries about her customers.
Totally miss our clients. they're our family.
The employees here say they're getting calls from clients who really want to help them and are asking if they can come to their house and do a haircut there.
State law, we're not allowed to do services outside of the salon or in-home or in their homes.
Barbara says there are two risks trying to cut hair at home. One, legal.
Our licenses could be revoked.
But two, everyone's health.
We can't go to homes and be that close to people. You can't do hair 6 feet away.
Yeah, just can't.
No, it's impossible.
You know, I don't want them to come to my house because you don't know where people have been. You know, you think you might know somebody, but you don't know where they've been.
Barbara realizes some stylists may go to homes because they need the cash, but her stylists are just hoping, as their sign says optimistically, that they'll be back soon. Now, the stimulus does provide benefits for hairstylists who normally don't qualify for unemployment, though many of them have yet to see a check so far. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries for 3 News Now.
And if you have a story idea for our consumer reports, let us know. Send us an email at 3newsnow.com.
This weather alert forecast sponsored by Elite Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and storm damage.
Just like the last couple of mornings, we're starting things off a little bit chilly. Omaha right now 23, along with Plattsmouth and Nebraska City, but everyone else in the low 20s south of I-80, and a lot of teens along and north of I-80, including Columbus at 17 and Atlantic coming in at 18. Now, those winds super light though out there this morning, less than 5 miles per hour in all of our cities, so that is keeping things a little bit more comfortable to start the day, and the wind not expected to pick up this afternoon like it did the last couple of days. So much lighter wind out there throughout the day today, and that will allow us to warm up a little bit more once again. Now, a lot of us are going to start the day with a lot of sunshine out there. You can see not many clouds around, but we do have some decent fog expanding across the area. Denison towards Atlantic is 0 visibility from that really thick fog. Officially at Epley Airfield in Omaha, 7 miles of visibility, so just some very light fog around, but most of us across the metro won't even notice that. And again, most of eastern Nebraska not seeing any fog at all, but just be aware of that as you head out the door this morning in those areas. Now, let's go to Futurecast. Show you that morning sunshine and quickly start to warm things up. Low 40s just for your lunch hour, and then as we get into the afternoon, most of us continue to enjoy a nice amount of sunshine, but there will be a few clouds around in the afternoon, not as many as yesterday, but that should get our temperatures to about 50 this afternoon. So again, warming up little by little. If you remember, Monday we did 42, yesterday was 46, and today we'll do 50, and again with lighter winds making it feel even better. Now, maybe a few sprinkles where those clouds are, but again, radar is going to look worse than it actually is. Most of it won't reach the ground anyway, so don't worry about that this afternoon. Overnight tonight then, a few more clouds start to push in. And as we go into Thursday morning for the morning commute, not expecting any issues, but looks like some of that light rain and snow will start to push in for the Thursday morning commute at that point. I think it's going to be pretty spotty, so again, a lot of us won't be seeing it yet. But as we go into late Thursday morning into the lunch hour, I think that rain and the snow will become much more common across the area. Now, as we go into the afternoon, that will continue. And Futurecast now trying to say a lot more of this will be snow. And again, I think that essentially we're going to go from rain, snow, and we may go back and forth a couple of times throughout the day, depending on where you live. Also note, the bulk of this is going to be along and south of I-80. The farther north you live, the better chance you don't see any of this at all. Now, the question is, how much cooler air will the system bring in with it? Right now, we're thinking for Omaha, more of a slushy mess more than anything due to the combination of the rain and snow throughout the day. So it shouldn't cause any significant issues for travel. But the question is what happens a little bit farther south? Will there be enough cool air for you guys to actually see a few inches of snow? Right now, we're sticking more to that slushy mess. But again, we may have to update this forecast later on today if it looks like we're expecting more cooler air than we are right now. That would be just enough to switch more of this into snow for those areas south of I-80. So basically, stay tuned for updates on this one. A lot of question marks still. I think here in Omaha, more slush than anything throughout the day on Thursday. Again, maybe having to add more snow accumulation a little bit farther down to the south if it brings in some of that extra cool air. But that all comes to an end Thursday night. Don't worry, the warm-up gets on back track as we go into the weekend. So today, highs near 50, a little bit warmer than yesterday and lighter winds. Overnight tonight then, we get down to 30 degrees, some spotty rain and snow to start the day. But again, that becomes much more widespread as we go into the middle part of the day, and it will continue Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening. All that rain, snow, and clouds will keep us cooler, highs only near 38 tomorrow. But Friday, The sun shines back, and so are the low 50s. The weekend looks even better still. We're looking at mostly sunny skies both afternoons with highs near 64. And it looks like we're going to keep on warming things up as we go into early next week, hopefully even back into low 70s by Tuesday. But again, we are going to continue to update that tricky forecast for Thursday. Stay with us. We'll update our forecast on the Storm Shield app throughout the day into tomorrow morning. You can check that out. Just download the app on the App Store or Google Play.
Coming up, we'll talk to the CDC director about how we'll know when it's time to reopen the country. Plus, jazz great Wynton Marsalis reflects on the loss of his father and how he's helping out-of-work musicians. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
And before we go, here's a look at some of the stories we'll be following for you today. We have the 411 on 3newsnow.com and our social media sites. President Donald Trump says that he's now saying he will leave it up to the governors to determine the right time and manner to revive activity in their states. This coming as the coronavirus pandemic is closely reaching 2 million infected worldwide with nearly 127,000 deaths. In the U.S., over 26,000 people have died from the virus. More than 10,000 of those are in New York City alone. We have a complete section on the coronavirus on our website, 3newsnow.com. Nebraska Crossing Outlets plans to have a soft opening on April 24th. Management purchased thermometers for each store to test employees for symptoms. They will also have protective shields set up and hand cleansing dispensers. We'll have more on the story on 3newsnow.com. And today is National American Sign Language Day. It's crucial for all Americans to have access to information, especially during a crisis. For a portion of our population, that means relying heavily on closed captioning and interpreters. You can follow 3 News Now reporter Kent Lutzen on Twitter for more on this story. And there's a road closure to keep an eye out for in Sarpy County. Starting today, Giles will be closed to through traffic from 192nd to 204th Street. The closure is expected to last till July 15th. Crews will be paving 3 lanes of traffic. Only local traffic will be allowed to access the roads. Today is April 15th and what should have been tax day for 2020. But the tax man will not be coming today. The coronavirus crisis has pushed the deadline to July 15th, giving you 3 more months to file your taxes as more and more Americans lose their livelihoods. The first tax deadline was March 1st, 1913. It taxed income above $4,000. And Mark, I know you already are done with your taxes, aren't you?
Yeah, I did mine before all this COVID nonsense got underway, so good to go there, but yeah.
Nice to have the extension, although we know people will still put it off at least another month after that.
And the thing is, I mean, who would have thought, any time that we'd be wishing tax day was still today and for things just to be normal outside.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, but at least the weather getting a little bit more normal out there today, but still below average. We're looking to be temperatures in the low 40s by lunchtime. Lots of sunshine through the morning. Again, some of us waking up to a little bit of fog, but by 5 o'clock, a few more clouds around, maybe a couple sprinkles. But again, just like yesterday, most of us going to be dry. And highs a little bit better than yesterday, near 50. By 8 o'clock, then we dip back down into the mid 40s. Now, overnight tonight, most of us stay dry with those lows near 30. But as we go into Thursday morning, that's when the rain and the snow will start to push into the region. Most of that throughout the day will stay along and south of I-80. But again, rain, snow, kind of a combination of the two really throughout a good chunk of the day, even into Thursday night for those areas, making for a slushy mess and keeping us much cooler with highs near 38. But again, if we have to push those temperatures down just a little bit in later forecasts, we may have to increase snow totals. Again, for Omaha right now, looking like more slush than anything and cooler or warmer Friday.